Hi, hello everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know once you get into the room if you could hear my fan blowing or not. Hope everything is crystal clear, but just so that I can get the UK girlies before they go to bed, let's get started. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé, the UK. This is season 1, episode 6. If y'all are new to my channel, my name is Wah, and I do recaps of relationship reality TV shows such as 90 Day Fiancé, Love After Lockup, Seeking Sister Wife, etc. So if you are at all interested in that content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if at any point during the hee ha-has, or if you get the hee ha-has from watching my recaps, you can drop your girl a little tip if you want to. The way to do so is below. And if you are an international girly and you can't do it that way, you could also give me a little thank you, which is a button, a couple spaces over from the thumbs up, some thumbs down. So right, let's get started. Let's jump right into this episode. This was a good episode. Richard is so cringe, you guys. Richard is the cringiest of the cringe. A cringy cringe of a cringy fellow. I mean, this man. You know what it is? I'm always envious of people who can just be who they are, regardless of how uncomfortable they're making other people around them. Be who they are, but also have a sense of entitlement and just truly not be able to stop themselves. And then there is no guilt or anxiety afterwards. Because the truth is that I am who I am. And in the moment, I can't stop myself, but afterwards, riddled with anxiety, just riddled with guilt and anxiety and feeling bad for the way that I have behaved, but not Richard. He can acknowledge that he probably didn't do the right things, but that will not stop him. That will not stop him from doing it over and over again. Hello. Hi, happy Monday. She's a UK girly. Anaya made it. Okay, so since we're talking about them because they were the cringiest of the cringe, let's just start out with Kathleen and Richard. Okay, so after the night of no boom boom, because that man just went to sleep on her, I'm sure he was jet lagged, but like, I don't want to give Richard any room to breathe. Like, I don't want him. I want the noose around his neck. I want my boot on his neck at all times. You know what? Also, why? Because Richard is loving every last single moment of this 15 minutes of fame he's about to. I mean, this man has gone on to Instagram and he has followed everybody who's ever recapped this show. I've seen him, and usually cast members, like, I have to go search for them, even if I do search, which I never do. But this man has found me. He's found docu-sweeties, he's liked things, and I'm just like, oh, you out, yeah, you out here trying to, okay. So Kathleen is having a conversation with him, which is the conversation that I think any of us who grew up in immigrant households have to give our American or English friends and family, or friends who are not of our culture. Once we bring them into the house, you guys know you've had to do that, right? I mean, when I was younger, if I brought anybody into my house, like, I would always tell them, you have to say hi to my dad. Like, you have to say hi to both of my parents. So when we go in, I'm going to find them and you're going to say hello. And you're going to say, hello, Mr. Lino. Because for some reason, there were some children just raised differently, where they could just be up in somebody's house and not speak to the people who pay the bills in that home, not speak to the elders. And that couldn't be me. I would walk into somebody's house and demand they take me to the bill payer, demand they take me to the adult, so that I can say, hi, my name is Wahima. Hi, how are you? Cool. Yeah, we go to school together. Something. I always had to coach my friends, like, don't put your feet on the couch, take your shoes off. Like, I always had to tell them before they came into the house. And this is exactly what Christina's doing. But she's not doing it proper. She's trying to beat around the bush and tippy toe, because what she's about to do is bring Richard into her home. And she is worried, because everybody in her home speaks English, that Richard is going to say something that is going to enact their worst fears about who he is. Because she knows, even though she loves him, that Richard is a bull in a china shop. So she's like, you have to act right. You have to learn to be tidy. We live in a small space and you just can't leave things all over the place. No one's going to clean up after you. There's just a certain way of maneuvering when you live in tiny quarters, right? And then she finally is just like, you know what, Richard, don't embarrass me, because he keeps saying things like, oh, it's going to be weird. I'm going to be on my best behavior. I'll do my very best, but I am who I am. And she's like, listen, Richard, just don't embarrass me. Okay. So he says that he never stays at people's parents' house. Like, even it would be even awkward for him to stay at his own parents' house, which I'm like, oh, not even for a night? Wow. When they told you to get out, they said, get out, get out. So he's kind of nervous about it. He's worried that he is going to do something or say something that's out of pocket, specifically if he gets drunk, if he can get loud. And then they get dropped off in the neighborhood and he gets out of the van and he's like, oh my God, we're not in England anymore. And he's like, oh, wow, okay, wow, interesting. Oh, okay. So he's like worried about his luggage because he feels like, there's a lot of little sewage situations going on. There's animals about the place. And I wanted to say, listen, I know we're about we're about 100 years outside of the Industrial Revolution. Are we not? What year is that? Like the 1800s? We're a couple hundred. We're a couple hundred years, right? Away from the Industrial Revolution. There are people who lived in his very same England who lived in neighborhoods that look a lot like what that neighborhood looks in the Philippines. So for him to act like he's like it's not even a thing that he's ever seen in his life and he just doesn't know, like, I get it, you haven't actually lived in it, but it's not far-fetched. So like, just act like you know. So like, I don't know. I always think it's weird when people get shocked when they go to places where infrastructure isn't like it is where they live. And I can honestly say that there are parts of the United States whose infrastructure is not as good as other parts of the United States. So I can only imagine that must be the same somewhere on the British Isles, right? Maybe not, but just assuming. Ella, you know. Ella, you know, act like you know, act like you know. Okay, I'm not gonna go. Anyways, so he is not getting any reaction from Christine's dad, and that is throwing him off. He's throwing out all his best quips and jokes that he could put muster, and the dad is just not even acknowledging him. Not at all. And Kathleen is really nervous. Like, she's very nervous about this entire situation. So the first order of business is for him to get her a bed that he finds to be better than a pallet on the ground. And we all saw that last episode where he's jumping around on different mattresses and she's embarrassed because they don't do that in the Philippines. And I can honestly say that they do that in the US. They let you try out the mattresses by laying on them. Because there's so many different types, it's just like a wealth of options. So he wants to put the beds in side by side and she keeps telling him that it's too big. And then he gets there and he realizes, oh, she's right. She doesn't know the dimensions of her own bedroom. So they have to make it a double. They have to make it a twin. What is it called? Twin bed? Not a twin bed. Bunk bed. They have to make it a bunk bed. And she's like, oh my God, how are we going to sleep together? And then, like, in the full voice of his deep baritone, he's like, when are we going to have our sexy time? And I'm just like, you don't know that this man hears you? This house ain't nothing but like 2 rooms and a galley kitchen. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it is not a lot to this house. And you were over here yelling about your sexy time on a twin size bunk bed. He really just has no absolute clue. And it's just sad. It really is. So then the next scene we have with these two is that he meets up with her friend. And I don't know if this man is joking or if he really thinks the things that he thinks. And I'm erring on the side that he truly believes the things that he is saying. 100 years from the Industrial Revolution. Hello. Ramsterdam, hello. The European girlies were able to make it. I love it. Okay, so he tells this friend, and I have quotes, which is why I'm looking over at my phone right now. He says that he is very lucky to have someone like Kathleen who wants to clean up after him. And that as far as he is concerned, the word wife means washing, ironing, F-wording, etc. And all Kathleen can do is just take a sip of her lemonade. That's all she can do. And then he says something else. Then the friend's like, "Oh, okay, well, what happens if she's like tired after work, right?" Because not at all through this conversation do we not acknowledge that Kathleen is planning on working, right? And so he's like, "Well, I'm not a slave master. Like, she doesn't have to clean up right away. Like, she doesn't feel like cleaning up that night. She can clean up the next day. Like, it's all about choices. She will not be forced to clean." And then the friend is like, "But you don't think that you have to do anything?" And then he says, "It's, honestly, I believe it's the partner's responsibility to clean." And he says he's so excited and so happy that Kathleen wants to be with him and that she will do all this stuff for him, that she will look after him, and that he would never get that from a woman in the UK. And then it clicked. You guys, it clicked for me. Kathleen did this. When he asked her at some point in their relationship, "Are you going to come over here and clean up after me? Are you going to like pick my dirty knickers up off the ground?" I don't know. Do men have knickers? There's only women. "Are you going to pick my socks up?" First of all, the idea of having your socks around the house is so bizarre to me. I'm looking left and right and there is not a sock. You know what I'm saying? Socks are not something that I just take off in the middle of the living room. What I do when I come home is immediately take off my clothes in my room or when I had my own apartment at the door. Take those clothes and either put them directly in the washer or in the hamper, and then I change into a house outfit. And so with that entire disrobing, the socks go too. So that is why the idea of like leaving socks around the house is never something that would happen to me, because if I am outside, those outside clothes immediately get stripped, which is why when I run errands, I run all of the errands because I'm not going to run in and out of the house. When I go out, I'm going out and I'm getting and doing everything. So when I can come home, I take those clothes off and throw them somewhere, because outside clothes are different than inside clothes. And that is the luxury that I have afforded myself. But Kathleen has set this precedent up where she told him she would clean. That is the only explanation for him insisting this in the way that he is. And that he's like, of course we're going to compromise. Of course we're going to talk about things. And of course we're going to, do whatever. Kathleen can say no to anything. I'm happy that she chooses to do these things. Then he said, "You know what? It's not my fault that there are some jobs that girls like to do and jobs that boys like to do. That's just the way I see it." And I said to myself, again, Kathleen was a part of this. She agreed to this at some point. "Yes, Richard. Yes, babe. I will clean up after you. I will help make your apartment clean." And so that is what he is thinking, that she is going to do the things that she does because she wants to do it. But also, she wants to work. And so he's now thinking that she is going to now work and then come home and clean up after him. If I were her, I would have set up a situation where she didn't work and she just stayed at home and was his housewife or whatever it is that she wants to do. So I think that she's into a world of hurt because she has said that she's going to like go over there and like shape up his home. Thank you, La Rosina. So as much as I want to be annoyed with him, I think that he has always put out there who he was and that what role she was going to fit in his life. which is a completely different contrast to what is happening with Christine and Sean. But we'll get to them. So when he says that there's jobs that boys like to do and jobs that girls like to do, I was like, wow, me cook meat, me hunt. Like he really is very much stuck in some era of human existence that does not exist anymore. If he thinks that women like to clean, now there are some women who like to clean for sure. They enjoy it. It brings them peace and it calms them down. But there are also men who do. So let's just change that idea to there are people who like to clean. And this idea that men just innately don't like to clean, like simply because you were born with a scrotum or I don't know, you want to clean is like crazy, is a crazy concept to me. So he's just that kind of slob, lazy person where he doesn't enjoy cleaning. And then he's probably, and a couple of his friends, he's like, so he's drawn in like-minded individuals who don't like to clean. And so now in his mind, it's men who don't like to clean and that women like it. Like, so that's why women are tidier because they actually like the cleanliness. But there are some dirty women out here too. There are dirty people, there are people in the middle, and there are people who are clean. There is a spectrum of people and the level of cleanliness they will tolerate. Okay? I know in the Black community in the US, like we love to be like, okay, you can't go into my grandma's house looking like that. My grandma's house is this, my grandma's house is that. But I have been into some dirty Black grandma's houses and been appalled because I thought all Black people liked to or had a different standard of cleanliness. That is not true. That is not true. So it's depending on the people and it's depending on whatever it is that they want in their life. But Kathleen is the one who has set this up. So I feel less frustrated with him and more frustrated with her for the things that she's promised him that she's going to do. And I think when she gets to the UK, she's going to renege. Honestly, he's got some like stitch on TikTok where he's like watching this Asian woman in a like cheeky unitard maid's outfit holding a feather duster. And I said, Kathleen is probably going to be very angry if they're still together that he has done this. So he then later on presents jewelry to the mother and the father because at this point he's like, the dad is not reacting to me at all. He's like basically ignoring me. And I'm like, then shut up. Maybe if you just shut up, the man will like feel like he has time to speak to you. Or maybe he'll feel like he wants to speak to you because right now you're annoying. Mother is really happy for the jewelry. Dad is just says thank you for the cross. And so that's the thing. It was like a calculated move too, because he's like, oh yeah, if you're ever meeting the family, they love jewelry and they love Jesus. So put it together. This is what you have. Ha 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 ha. And then he hands her, Kathleen, a pair of shorts. And you guys know that there are these like ruche style leggings that are like literally go in the butt crack to elevate your booty. He has gotten her a pair of those, but in the shorts version. And he wants her to go and put them on. So I'm like, you bought these people jewelry, and then you're going to bring her a pair of shorts. And she's like, I'll try the shorts on later. He's like, no, try them on now. And that is where I'm like, Richard, are you not aware that this woman had just said she's not going to do something and now you're trying to get her to do it? So she goes and she puts on the shorts, and then he's like, oh, look at you, sexy. And she goes and sits down and he slaps her thigh. And then he's like, I don't think that I did the right thing in front of the parents. Like, they're not getting my jokes. But also I was thinking is like, how is Kathleen going to be mad at the shorts? Because to me, the shorts weren't that short. They weren't booty shorts. They were short, but they weren't booty shorts. How is she going to feel some kind of way at her grown age about wearing shorts in front of like her family when her mother is sitting there 100% braless? And not just like braless where I could just see that they're like resting on the top of her tummy, but like nipples perked braless. Like it is hot AF in their little space, and I could see her mother's budding nipples. So I'm just going to go on ahead and call that one a wash, because why can't Kathleen wear short shorts? They're both in their own homes. If mama's in her home, she could be braless. I think Kathleen could be in her home wearing short shorts. Yeah. You know what I would do? Like the daily maintenance I can obviously do, but the deep cleaning I would like to get somebody to come in twice a month. It's just like, ain't nobody got time for that. There's other things I could be doing. Okay, let's move on. Oh, just when I touched it. Let's about Emma, because this went down the drain quickly, and I don't understand why they're still showing them as a couple. So we've got Emma and Sin. His name is Hoisan, and there's a picture of him. There is a picture of them together here. So I don't know if this picture was taken when she actually met him in Turkey 3 years ago, or if what's happening in their storyline right now is not the end of their story, but it feels like it is. So Emma says that the wedding is just around the corner. I don't know why they won't tell us like a more official number. Like, why can't they say the wedding is going to be a month away or 4 weeks or like whatever? Why do they have to say around the corner? Anyway, so wedding is close. Hoisan has still not done his paperwork, but she's going to go wedding dress shopping anyway. She wants to let her friends and family know, especially her daughter, that this thing is real and it's actually happening. Her daughter is quite shocked, but seeing her mother try on wedding dresses is the thing that's going to like make this prospect on the horizon click in her brain. And so she's trying on a bunch of different dresses, and there's a lot of and then finally there's the last one. And then there's a quick conversation whether or not he's going to like the dress. And so she then says, well, he's Iranian Muslim and I'm English and not Muslim, so I'm going to wear what I want to wear. And this is always the thing that kills me when people of different cultures and religion get married to each other. When there's always the woman who feels like her magical moment of what she has always envisioned her wedding to be, or not envisioned because she's never envisioned a wedding, now supersedes the whatever it is that the other person's culture and or may want. Like, here's an example. What if you were to marry a man that is, say, Indian, right? And maybe he's Indian Muslim, maybe he's Indian and he's practices Hinduism. There seems to be this like push away from Western world women who are not of the Islam faith, thinking that wearing a modern or a modest wedding dress is just abhorrent to them. But you are marrying a man whose idea of modesty for their women tends to be paramount, even if they don't admit it, right? And so I always find it so interesting that the woman isn't willing to adjust some way to honor that, even if it's for pictures to be sent back home. So, for example, Hoisan, if they were to get married in the UK, his family wouldn't be there. But what if she got a dress that fit her style, but then also got some kind of overlay that she could put on? Maybe a hijab that kind of went long to cover her arms or whatever. Something to put on so that in the pictures he sends to his family, she is dressed modestly. I'm not saying that you need to change your whole wedding aesthetic and change who you are. But I think that, like, example, if you were, I may try to do the example, if you were marrying an Indian man, would you not consider wearing traditional Indian dress? Would you not consider that? So then my thought is, what else won't you consider about this person? Why does your fantasy of what your wedding was always going to be supersede your current situation? I just don't get it. So I'm waiting for somebody to tell me that I'm wrong or that I shouldn't think that. There's is too much of a trend these days to look sexy as a bride. Think Grace Kelly and Shida. Yes, Whitney Houston's wedding dress, to me, I don't know if you guys remember it, but it has always stuck out in my mind as a wedding dress that I would want. And let me see if it's the one that I have in my head. Let's get Whitney Houston wedding dress. I remember it's slightly different than this, but this is what I was talking about. Hold on, let me see if I can snatch a picture of it. I thought that it was so beautiful. And not to say that it completely fits the bill of what a modest woman would wear for her wedding, but what I'm saying is that it is an option. My Wi-Fi is about to go wonky because I'm going to try to upload this picture to show you guys what I'm talking about. Like, maybe she's showing a little bit too much because the top is see-through, but what if she had some kind of something to just like complement that and go over it, right? This headpiece where it completely covers her head and she's still looking beautiful and it's sheared down the corner, the sides. And this is like a dress from the 90s, you guys. There's like an ugly slit once you get to the bottom where I'm just like, okay, take it back. I take it back. But what I'm saying is that there is a way of bridging cultures, or you can just get two. Now, if you can't afford it, I would absolutely understand that. But maybe there could be something where on the bottom it's a white bride's dress, but maybe on the top you do some kind of traditional, if you're marrying an Indian man, traditional like Indian swoop or something. Because I wouldn't force him to wear a black tux. What if he wanted to wear a traditional Indian man dress? I mean, outfit, garb, clothing. Like, what if he wanted to do that? I just don't understand this idea that, like, that you're gonna, like, yeah. It's like a deep rooted prejudice against the way that some women who are Muslim choose to express their religion. And maybe it's because I know Muslim women who don't wear hijabs. And it's their choice. Now, sometimes it's not. Some countries in the Middle East, it's not a choice whether or not a woman wears a hijab or not. I get that. But you putting on a traditional garment for both of y'all's wedding doesn't seem like too much of an ask. Especially if you have already been married. So anyways, I just kind of wanted to say that. Christelle says Paris Hilton wore long sleeves. It was beautiful. Yeah, I just think there's ways to do it, but this immediate like, well, I'm not a Muslim woman. I'm English. That's his culture. Like you are marrying somebody. You have to understand that you are legally bonding yourself in like ties and love with a person, and for you to outright object to certain things of their religion to me is crazy. Then you don't need to be marrying that person. They are not marrying you because I also think what it is that there's this idea that if you're bringing them to your country that they're supposed to just like acclimate, but it's silly because there are people in your country whose religion and culture that your partner shares. So you can't just lead separate lives. You can't just lead separate lives. Like I remember my mother dressing in like she didn't always dress in traditional. I don't even know if she had traditional garbs, but like my mother didn't dress necessarily in traditional Garifuna garbs, but she always put on some kind of African attire or anything. Even though like Garifuna is not African, but it's not an African culture. But like there is just certain amounts of yourself that you have to just like move. You have to move over and let it happen. You know, you have to just like marry the both because it's not like your partner is going to come here and then just poof, all of their culture is going to go flying out of the window so that they could be an American. That's not the way that works. So anyways, there's that. There's ways to do it and you don't have to like be rude about it. You don't have to have this like anti-Muslim like thoughts in your mind, and it's because I don't think it's coming from a bad place. I think it's coming from a place where the women tend to judge and feel like those women are being controlled and that they're not going to be controlled. And I wish that they would have more conversations with the women of those cultures and religion before they just decide that they're going to be the English or the American person who's just going to do their own thing. Because I felt the same thing with even Muhammad. You have to make space for their culture in your life. And Eve felt like she did it as much as she possibly could. But I think that there needed to be more conversation with what that looked like so that she could be like, okay, I'm not going to do that. Like I can dress more conservatively for you if it makes you more comfortable, but I'm gonna wear this, and if you need me to put a shawl on, I can get a shawl. Like, you know what I mean? And the same thing for them. To put your demands out there for them. Okay, so she throws herself, and I need the UK girlies right now to kind of tell me what it is that Emma was saying because it looked like it heard what only thing I kept hearing is that she was throwing a hand party. We in the States would call the party that she was having a bachelorette party. But she kept saying, I've never had a ham party. And I was like, what is this word? And she throws a chicks with dicks party because she had her chicks there, her girlfriends there. Chicks and dicks. Sorry, not chicks with dicks. Chicks and dicks party. So it's like there was like a little penis piñata. There was, the typical bachelorette party things. Oh, a hen party. Oh. I was like, what's a hand party? Hen party. Okay. So it's just not called bachelorette party. It's called a hen party. That's great. A hen do is a bachelorette party in her town. Ah. Okay. Great. Listen, learn new things every day. I didn't know what that woman was saying. I said a hand party. Hen party still wouldn't have made any sense to me. But like good to know. So she's having this hen party. He hasn't gotten his paperwork done. So there's really to me no evidence that she's actually going to get married. And she does not know what she is going to do when she actually sees him because it's been 6 years since they've been talking, but 3 years since they've seen each other. And so she just doesn't know how their chemistry is going to be in person. And I guess she is thinking that the reason why they haven't had sex was because of his religion. And I think it's because he's a homosexual and he does not want to have sex with her. But, I could be wrong. So she's really nervous about what that is going to be. But again, you guys, this man has not filed any paperwork. So then we get back to her, like I don't know how many weeks later, and apparently her and him have had a row. I know what that means, a fight. They've had a row. And it got pretty bad. He called her fat and old and said that he doesn't love her. And so then she came back at him with a bunch of like stuff too. And you would think that her next statement would be, we've completely broken it off. It's not working out. Like, he doesn't respect me. He doesn't love me. And, I can't be with somebody who would tell me that I'm old and fat to my face. But no, she says, I'm just going to let him cool down. I'm going to let him cool down a little bit. And we're going to take some time. And her friend's like, yeah, let him come to you. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to let him come to me. And I just like, that man called you old and fat. I mean, that's shots fired. That's a point of no return. You can't, no. There are just some things that you're never going to be able to say to me. You can't call me fat. You can't call me bald-headed. You can't make some allusion to my skin tone. You cannot belittle me in certain ways and have it come back. Like, you can read me. You could read me for the way I've behaved. You could read me for the shitty things that I've done. Yeah. But like, it's like women who, I think she also might have said something about his penis too. It's like, I would know, I would 100% know that if I told a man that his penis was inadequate, that there is no coming back from that. So I'm saying that I'm lighting the match, I'm pouring the gasoline, and I'm burning that bridge down. It's like, how do you get back from that? I don't know. You guys, JJ is in the house. JJ Video Reacts. She does reaction videos for 90 Day Fiancé and Love After Lockup. So go on ahead and check out her channel if you're interested in another point of view from that. Thank you for joining us today, JJ. Oh, 102 people in this room. Hey, girlies, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Sue Jones says, I'm English and live more than 70 miles from most of them, but I still have the subtitles on. Yeah, I need the subtitles a lot of times too, but it's like I'm trying to get better. Sometimes I don't want to put the subtitles on because I'm like, I just want to be able to understand it. Like I just like listened to it over and over again, and I was like, hand party, hin. But I guess if you say hin, I could see how somebody was saying, because even when they were saying no, it was like no. It was like no. It's just so interesting. It is very interesting because on the East Coast, there's like a faction of people who say things like Linder. Like if you're saying like, oh, Linda, my friend Linda, you're like, oh no, my friend Linda. So sometimes, you just take an A and make it an ER. And sometimes instead of saying hand, you say hind. Pass me, let me shake your hind. It sounds very Australian to me. Give me your hind. So anyways, she's like gonna let him cool down and come back to her, and I say, no, girl, you can't be with somebody who calls you fat and old. You can't do it. Okay, so next couple that we are going to talk about is, I actually don't have a picture of them, which is unfortunate. I don't have a picture of Callum and whatever his name is. Callum and Marvin. Let's just talk about them though. Oh yeah, I don't have a picture of them at all. I gotta find it. Okay, so next couple that we're going to talk about is Callum and Marvin. Marvin is from the Seychelles, which I don't know exactly where that is. I don't know if it's the nickname that people in Scotland have for those from the Caribbean. So if you know where the Seychelles are, please let me know. I don't remember how old Marvin is, but he's, I think, from the islands, from a Caribbean island. And I feel like his pictures are very specifically posed, because the person that I see in the pictures and the person that I see in that FaceTime do not equal the same to me. And we have Callum, who is 28 years old, and he's from Glasgow. And he says that his life as a gay man in Glasgow is very open and great, and he's always been able to be who he is. And he seems like he comes from a bit of privilege. He's not. I don't know. His mother is pretty fashionable. The kitchen looked good. You know what I'm saying? So he has been dating Marvin, or he's been talking to Marvin for a year, and they have officially become boyfriends 2 months. And he's really excited to tell his friends and family about Marvin. And his friends and family have a lot to say, because they find out that Marvin has only ever dated European men. And then that is a red flag for all of them. And Callum explains that the reason why is because it isn't safe to be gay where Marvin is from. And so he doesn't hide his homosexuality, but he's not like wearing rainbow socks. And I can completely understand that. I can completely understand coming from a country or a culture where homosexuality could actually get you killed by like crazy people. And I think it's something that gay Black men suffer a lot in the islands. And so perhaps he has a thing for Europeans. That could be one thing too, because a lot of dark-skinned people sometimes can have feelings about being dark and kind of wanting to get away from that, and finding that being with somebody who is white, which is because of, colonialism and because of white supremacy, is always seen as like the pinnacle of success and beauty and all these things. So he could be somebody who's just kind of wrapped up into that. Don't know if that's his natural hair texture, but it's giving me a texturizer or something like that. So like, I don't know much about Marvin, but based on that information, I can see that like the trauma of colorism and, all the things I just mentioned could have affected him. But his friends see that as a red flag because they want to know if he's doing it for the right reasons. And at this point in the game, I am really tired of hearing that, because I just need the Western person to know and just bring into their body and settle into it. The allure of a foreigner dating you and possibly leaving everything that they have ever known behind to come and be with you is partly because you are in a westernized country. And so if you could all just settle into that, that would be great. Because most of the time, the reason why you, as the American or the British person or the whatever person, the Danish person, the whatever person, are going after people internationally is because you haven't had luck with people in your own country. And so getting with someone outside of your country that is going to be appreciative of everything that you have to give them is your allure. It is so much easier for me to date somebody outside of the country because all you do is talk to them on FaceTime. All they want is to come to the US to have more opportunity, or come to wherever to have more opportunity. So if y'all just both settle into the fact that you're both going into this for the wrong reasons, but at the end of it, you might actually love each other. And I said wrong reasons in quote. Not everything is about drop dead being in love with somebody. Folks get married every day and they can't stand each other, or they truly aren't compatible and they've just settled. But we have this idea that this foreigner is just this Muhammad character. Now, Muhammad and Danielle, yes, we all knew that man did not want Danielle. We knew that the whole reason Muhammad Jabali came to the US is so that he could make a better life for himself and his family, and he picked the most unfortunate soul in which to do this with. The same thing with Azan. Azan got on national TV and told the world that he liked Nicole 55%, and she knew that. So, yes, there are people who are blatant about it. And now there's this whole conversation about Pedro, and we have turned against Pedro so quickly. Now, I don't have all the drama. I don't have all the keys to the cars, and I don't know everything that's going on. But I mean, we love that. We as the Westerner, we love to think that they're just using everybody. There's an initial agenda. Fairy tales are just that, fairy tales and not real life. Yeah. Arranged marriages still happen for a stability or longevity. Yeah. Magda, I'm Team Pedro too. Oh, I'm not Team Pedro because I think some of the things that he's done has been quite disrespectful. But I think he's just hurt and tired of Chantel. And we're supposed to all be like, oh my God, but Chantel is so beautiful. But what if she's boring as hell? What if she doesn't, what if she's boring? So he's supposed to stay in a marriage with her? Okay, I'm not going to go in this. We're not talking about it. So anyways, I just hate that idea because now it's like, oh, you are there, he's using you, he must be using you to get to the UK. This man is coming to the UK on a tourist visa. I don't know what it is to get into the UK, but I love the fact that these foreigners are able to travel to visit the foreigner. I like that. Anyways, I haven't turned against Pedro. They are both a mess. Same, I'm not against Pedro. She is boring. Yeah, I honestly, there is nothing about Chantel's personality that I have seen on TV that would lead me to believe that she is someone who is going to grow as a human being. When I think about when I think about what we have been presented on this show, there is nothing that leads me to believe that she is not someone who's relatively like this. And not because she doesn't want to be. I just think that there are some people who are very simple in what they need in life, and they kind of just stay in that lane. Regardless of if you're a nurse or not. You can be an engineer, but just because you know how to be book smart doesn't mean that you're necessarily open and you will ever truly grow in your life as a human being. That takes want and desire, and if you're very much like, church, family, football, then like I don't expect that much from you. And I'm not saying that she is that, but he says that he wants a partner that he's going to grow with, and Chantel hasn't grown. Now, the way he's going about it seems a little shady and crazy, but I don't think that we could just say that, oh, he's using her for the green card. It's not that Pedro wants a divorce. It's the way he has treated her and talked to her. He was downright mean and condescending. And I will agree with you, Renee. I will agree. But from that, people are discerning that he's now quitting her because of the green card. And that's the thing that bothers me. Like, yes, you are correct. I've seen him do the things that he's done, and she does not deserve that. But that doesn't mean that he's doing it because that means that he's doing it because he's being a shitty partner and a shitty friend and a shitty lover. He's being shitty. But that doesn't mean that he didn't love her from the beginning. That means that he didn't explain to her what it is that he wanted and have some kind of clear conversation and conversation with her about what it is that he wanted. It just feels like for her, it feels like it's out of the blue. And I'd have to take her word that he's never truly explained to her that, hey, we're here now, but at some point I'm going to want you to want more. Okay. I'm going to want you to think about, creating a happy home. And like, I want you to fix this house up. I want you to put more effort into learning how to cook. I want you to do all of these things. Like, this is what I want from you. This is my expectation. And that is how you have a healthy relationship, I feel, truthfully. So, anyways, that's just the way I think about it. They're both wrong in it, but the fact that everyone is like, oh, he's using her for the green card, I think is just like, it's this deep rooted like dislike of foreigners. It's like, or mistrust of foreigners. It's like, you guys, I think we all need to realize when we're just being, not racist is not the word. It is like prejudiced, or what is it? There has to be a term for when you're just like xenophobic. Is that what it is? Is it xenophobia I'm talking about? It's just that, anyways. But that's my thought. Like, woo, we've got a bot. There's a lot of moderators in here. Can we handle this bot? Thank you guys so much. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, so let's move on to the next couple. Let's go to Christine and Sean. I think they're the last couple. Okay. So Christine has been in the UK for a while now, maybe like a week or two, so not that long. And she is really unimpressed with the way Sean has been living. She had a lot of expectations on him, but I think that Sean has had a lot of anxiety and depression, because usually when people lie about what they're going to do, I shouldn't say lie. Usually when people say that they're going to do something and it comes to cleaning and it comes to organizing their lives, and they keep saying, I'm going to do that. Yeah, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. And they keep not doing it. That means that they are going through something. There's some kind of block. He has known this entire time that this woman is coming into this house, and he has left dirty dishes in the cupboards for the insects and the rats and the roaches to get to. That shows you his mental state. Now, I've talked about his mental state before, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I have had therapy of my own, and I have watched people have every intention of doing things and just not be able to do it. And they actually need help. I have friends in my life who like see that their room or their space is a mess. And I actually have to come in and be like, do you want help? And the relief that I have seen on faces of people being like, yes, can you help me? Can you help me? And I'm like, okay, I will dedicate the next 2 days and we're going to go through and you're going to listen to me and we are going to organize this room. You're going to let things go. If I look at you long enough, you're going to put it in the goodwill pile. I'm really good at that. So I'm always often that person where I'll ask you if you want help. And if you say no to my help, I'll never ask again, but I'll always ask. Dating doula, hi girl. Love marriages are a modern thing. Historically, most marriages were transactional. National building, empire building, making sure daughters weren't left. Yeah. I agree too. So when people always say the right reasons, I'm like, what are the right reasons? I agree that Americans are prejudiced against anyone who is different and from another country. So there are always suspicion that foreigners are doing shady things, which is so crazy because we are literally a country of foreigners. We are literally a country of people who came over here just like taking shit over. Well, my ancestries didn't do that, but I can't say that I can't say that post slavery things didn't happen. But what I'm saying is that it's pronounced say, well, you still, okay, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, Lindy, you're going to have to phonetically spell out what Cheyes is to me. Say Cheyes, say Chels. So phonetically spell out the last part of that, because that says Cheyes to me, or Chelis. It's an island off the coast of East Africa in the Indian Ocean. It's actually Seychelles. Oh, Seychelles. Girl, I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know anything. I'm going to tell you right now that I thought I knew most places in the world. And I do. I'm gonna be honest with you, I do. But I looked up the Maldives the other day and didn't realize the Maldives was off of India. Didn't know that. I thought the Maldives was either A, in like the Mediterranean, which I think I'm getting that confused with Malta, or it was somewhere near Fiji. Like it was just somewhere in those Polynesian islands. That's where I thought the Maldives was. So let me say, but they kept saying Seychelles. They kept saying Seychelles. Oh, it's a country in East Africa. It's a country in Africa? Because East Africa is not a continent. Oh, it's an archipelago of 115 islands in the Indian Ocean off the east. Yeah. So like Kenya? Oh, let me see the map. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my God. What country owns independence was given in 19 Oh, because it's a colony. That's why it's a colonized country. That's why the UK knows about it. It's a colonized like whatever. Is Seychelles Indian or African? The Republic of Seychelles is an archipelago of 155 islands situated in the Indian Ocean east of the mainland, Eastern Africa, with a territory of whatever. So I guess they're just an island. Oh, Seychelles. Listen to this, or seashells. What did you guys say it was called? You guys said it was called Seychelles. Seychelles. Oh my gosh, am I gonna have to go here? Seychelles hotels. Oh. Okay, I'm going down a rabbit hole. Anyways, good to know that. Didn't know that existed. So maybe that is his hair. So the Maldives isn't Mediterranean. Cool. Exactly. It's literally south of India. LOL, that's fair though. For me, if a lot of European tourists visit there, it's likely a part of Africa or close to India. Yeah. Yeah, like I don't that's not an American tourist spot. Like we don't talk about that, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna Cool. I really want to hear. I mean, I heard him speaking, but I didn't detect a Caribbean accent. I just assumed it was because I need to know what those I need to know everything now about Seychelles. I need to know everything about it now. Great. Where are my notes? What was I talking about? Okay. So yes. So you have to think of the mental space that Sean is in, the fact that he knows that his family is coming to him and he's unable to like mentally get past himself to be able to clean up because he probably goes into that room and gets just overwhelmed. He probably goes into his kitchen and just gets overwhelmed and can't make a move. And that has been me at times in my life where I like know I need to do something and then I go into the space. I don't know where to start. I don't know where I'm going to put things, but I don't want to let things go yet because I could probably, it's classic hoarder behavior, right? It isn't bad, but it's like the beginning of it. So the first thing she says is the room smells. It's stinky and dusty. And I'm like, it's stinky? Did something die in there? Jeez Louise. So then she's like, hey, Sean, so when are you going to clean Christian's room? And he's like, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to cleaning it. And she's like, how about now? And he's like, oh, okay, let's do it now then. So she's getting him right together. They go into that room and she's like, what is this? He's like, oh, it's a desk. I was going to put it together. And I'm like, just go ahead and throw that away. It's been sitting there. If you don't have a tool set right now to put it together right this moment, it's not happening. So throw it away. And then he's like, oh, okay, I got this umbrella for Christian. She's like, okay, this is great. And then she finds a picture of herself in a box of important items. And she's like, why isn't it on the wall? And he's like, well, because I have you on my phone. That's more important. And so then, she really is trying to get him to move to get things done because she was very disappointed in how the space was when she got there. She truly felt like he should have had everything together, especially because he told her that he had. So the next scene we have with them is they're going to a pub to meet his friend Jimmy. And they all sit down, and Jimmy is, just talking about normal stuff. And he actually thanks Christine because he says that, ever since she's gotten there, Sean has been very, very happy at work, and that he, it's just, he's seen the difference in Sean since Christina's got there. He's got a shave and a haircut, doot. And he admits that Christine being there is very comforting to him. And so as a friend, Jimmy was like, thank you for that. And so then he gets a phone call and he says that it's Christian. So I guess it must be his mother calling, because his mother is watching Christian right now. And so he gets up to walk away. And during that time, Jimmy chooses to then attack a woman he doesn't know. He says, I just want to double check to make sure that you love him. And then she goes, I don't care what people think. I do love him. Our love is real. And then he says, I just also, need to ask, like, is Christian his baby? And that is like too much for her. She says, I don't give. She says, that is a fucking shit question, is what she says to Jimmy. And it is. You don't know this woman. You haven't even seen, maybe you've seen the child in pictures, but you don't know this woman. And you're going to ask her if her son's father is your friend? What is she supposed to say to you, Jimmy? What did you think she was going to be like, actually, please don't tell Sean, but Christian is not his. I've been lying to Sean. So thank you for asking. So now I can tell the truth. Did you think that's going to happen? What did you think was? He's like, oh, she got quite upset, but it needed to be asked. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It did not need to be asked. And when she said that's a fucking shit question, I said, you go off, Christine, and stand up for yourself. So while she's like gestating or, and being upset, Sean walks back in and goes, what's going on? And then Jenny was like, I asked her if Christian was your baby. And he's like, it's none of anybody's business. We love each other. Christian is my son. So basically what this man is saying is like, even if Christian is not his son, biologically, he has taken on Christian. So it doesn't even matter to him. It doesn't matter to him because Christine has been the light of his life for however long they've been talking. Christine has probably been the only woman who has ever made Sean feel the way he's feeling. And so at this point, at the age of 40, people need to leave folk alone. When you're 40 years old, you've lived life and you've given chances and you've waited for the one and you've done all the things. You've worked on yourself. You've done all the things. Let me tell you, as somebody who knows it, by the time you are 40 years old, you've done all the work you're going to do on yourself. And if you make choices after the age of 40 that are foolhardy or dumb, the only thing anyone in your life should do is just sit back and watch. Unless they are going to be directly affected by your choices, like your children, or if you're taking care of your parents or whatever. Like, honestly, otherwise, leave them folk alone. It's not like Sean is marrying a 21-year-old, and so there's cause for concern. Like, this woman has talked to him consistently for 4 years, and he has sent her money. Leave them alone. So anyways, that ends, and then he, because of that, takes her out on a dinner date that he absolutely cannot afford. And I thought to myself, why did you take her there? I'm pretty sure that there are other cheaper Italian spots to take her to that serve just as good food, but that's me. And so at the dinner date, she apologizes to him because she says, I realize now that you were sending me money so that I could take care of my family, so that I could, do my thing. And you went without. Like, when I saw your flat And when I saw the fact that you don't have new shoes and new clothes and you haven't bought anything for yourself, it really, really made me realize how generous and a lovely person you are, because I had no idea that you were going without so that I could have. And even when I was asking you for extra, I feel really terrible. And he's like, "Oh, don't worry, every money spent towards you was worth it. And I love you. And I know you were taking care of Christian by yourself." And I was like, "Not by herself. She's got a whole family, like a whole brood, like, her kids were old enough to help her with Christian, and she got parents." But anyways, she's, didn't have him there to support, and she just is crying. And I said, for every single individual who's over there talking about Christina's must be using Sean, y'all are assholes, because we've never seen a foreigner from this franchise come to the US and then look around and realize that the person that they have been in relationship with, who has probably been sending them money, has actually not a lot. She could see that he hasn't done shit for himself, yet he was sending her $400, $500 a month. She could see that that man was not, and she apologized for it. And so I just thought that was a really sweet moment. And I mean, she still doesn't know that he is in financial ruin, because she makes some kind of comment about uh him helping her pay off her credit, and then they can start saving. And I'm like, "You got credit cards, sis? What you been buying?" So I just hope that everyone can suck it. Anyone who's in Sean's life can suck it after they watch this episode, because either Christine is an amazing actress, or she truly does love and appreciate Sean and for everything that he's done for her. And the fact that she's willing to help him help him fix up the room for Christian and keep the house clean. She's put signs all over the place that's like, if you no boom boom if you don't keep this clean. I thought there was an opportunity for her to rhyme. It was like, if you want boom boom, what was it? There was an opportunity for her to make like a rhyme. No boom boom if the room is not clean. No, that wasn't it. But anyways, so it was a really sweet moment, and I'm really rooting for them because I want Sean to be happy. And I love the fact that in her confessionals, Christine is able to truly like talk about how she feels and about like what it is that her goals are. And I'm pretty sure as soon as she can get a job, she will, so that she can, probably support her family. I would like to see the conversation that he has with her, stating that he's unable to now send money back to the family because they're there, and see what she says. Because maybe I feel like she's going to be like, "You're right. I didn't realize how poor you are. And so you can't be sending money back home." And I feel like financially she's going to figure it out anyways for them. I think she would figure it out for him. Whew. All right, you guys, we're done. We're done. I mean, the UK version is really good. I don't know when we're going to. Well, next episode we're going to meet the older lady who is with the younger Pakistani man, and we're going to probably get back to Alejandro and Katie. I hope we never get back to Bridie and Host, because like they're just gonna fight. But anywho, La Borsina. Aw, so annoyed I missed it. Sounds like a great moment. It really was a great moment. He put her ahead of himself 100%. The boy's eye shape and hair color is not common amongst Filipino kids. Christian is not pale because he lived in a tropical country. Sean had 60 English pounds for a month for himself. Yep. Oh yeah. If you want boom boom, clean the room is what I was thinking. That's the rhyme. UK is pretty expensive. It surely is. Ellie says, "I'm Filipino and I don't understand why people think Christian is pure Filipino." Let's see. Bubbly says it's off to southeast of. Oh yeah, she was telling me about Seychelles. Seychelles. But you guys should definitely watch it. Dating Doula says all the big UK influencers go to Seychelles and the Maldives. Yeah, I didn't know about it. Now I know. I think it's because people don't understand biracial children are so unique. So one would guess in 1 million years that I'm half Japanese. So no one would guess in 1 million years that I'm half Japanese. Huh. I mean, not that I wouldn't guess that, but yeah, you're right. I wouldn't guess it. You would have to say it to me, and then I'd probably be like, okay, I might see it. I don't know. Can I see it in this picture, Renee? No. 60 pound per month isn't even enough train fare for a week. Wow, he's truly been going without. Well, I mean, I thought that too, because when he said 60 pound, I was like, I couldn't survive here on $50 a month. All right, you guys, I'm gonna like rest. I gotta go to work. I'm going in late today. I'm gonna rest before I go to work. Y'all have a fantastic, fantastic week, and remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Oh, you know what I never talk about is DocuSweeties. Are you guys following us on DocuSweeties? So if you're wondering about 90 Day Fiancé HEA, we do it on DocuSweeties. We've already actually filmed the episode, and we're waiting to drop it tomorrow once our editor gets it back to us. And we are going to be talking about the new Army Hammer documentary that's coming up. I also watched Manti, that documentary. So I don't know when Chris is going to watch it so we can talk about it. But please give an opportunity to check out our podcast. It's called DocuSweeties. You can find it on anywhere that you find podcasts. I don't know if it reaches the international girlies, but Apple Podcasts, you can find it on. Spotify, you'd be able to find it on. Google Play, you're able to find it on, and then other miscellaneous podcasts, you're able to find it up. Thanks, Dating Doula. And if you are interested in getting that content fast, we do have a $10 a month Patreon you can join. And I'm going to tell you right now how much content is on Patreon because it's a lot. It's everything, honestly. Is it going to let me sign in right now? Let me just go here. Let's go on my phone. How much content that we've got on Patreon. How do I find that? I don't know how to use this. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 items on there for the month of August, and then July we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 things. Ooh, more than that. Ooh, we put a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 10 videos up that we put in July. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos that we have up for August. So yeah, I mean, we pretty much put a lot of. Oh, thank you, Melody. We like anytime we go live with anything, or not go live, anytime that we film something, we throw it up. So it's up there pretty quickly. If you're interested in Love After Lockup, we put the Love After Lockups the same day after we record them. The audio version of it, the podcast, usually happens on Mondays. So you could do it on the free feed, obviously, on Mondays and Tuesdays or Wednesdays. That's when we'll get the content out. But if you want the unedited version of us where you can actually see our faces and see the pictures that we put up, then you could do Patreon, which is $10 a month. if you're interested in it. If you cannot afford $10 a month, but you still want to support us, you can put in how much that you want to pledge. However, there are no tiers for $5, so you're not going to actually see any content. And that's just because right now, oh, thank you, Anaya. That's just because right now I don't have the time to be able to pump out as much content as I want to. So we just can't give more than that. But I think we're doing 2 shows right now that are weekly, and then we're also doing docu-series, which whenever that comes out, we will put them out week after week. So The Most Hated Man comes out every Friday. Once we do Army Hammer, that's probably going to come out every Friday or Saturday, depending on if we can binge watch it. Like if we can binge watch a show, then what we'll do is we'll just watch the full show, right? And then record. If it has 3 episodes, you'll get those 3 episodes and they'll just drop weekly. So thank y'all so much for all your support. I appreciate it so much. Loving the docu-sweeties content. So thank you guys for that. And again, like, you don't have to do Patreon. You can do the free feed, and that also helps us too. If you wanted to leave us a 5-star because you're, getting all the hee ha-has, you could do that as well. Patreon is just another way to kind of support us with the editing portion of it. Like right now, we're just kind of paying out of pocket to have all this stuff edited because both her and I don't have the time or the mental capacity to learn how to edit things, which we should, but it's not there yet. And so Patreon would actually help fund that so that we didn't have to pay out of pocket. Like I've actually had to budget docu-sweeties into my life and be like, okay, well, I'm spending X amount of money a month just getting videos edited. So love it. Love that you guys love it. Please let us know if there's any documentaries you want us to talk about. But right now, the 2 episodic shows that are kind of taking over our lives are HEA and Love After Lockup. And Love After Lockup is good, y'all. So listen to it on the free feed on the podcast. All right. Have a fantastic week, you guys. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Thank you, everybody in the room. JJ Reacts, Ramsterdam, Crystal, Anaya, Soraya, Renee, Dating Dula, Labrosina. Who else was in here? Ellie, thank you for that. Bubbly in the USA, thanks. Seth, hello. 1,000 Pieces, thank you for that, correction on the Industrial Revolution. Deanna Hancock, Melody, LA. Ladero, hello. Lindy, hi. Leslie, thank you. Thank you guys. Thanks to the bot that was here causing some havoc. And thank you for Baba Baby Binky Blanket, because I know she's listening at work, but she can't join in. Hannah Emma from London. I love that the London girlies can get in. The problem is this, not all the time can I go this early, because I'm just going to work late today. Heather B, thank you. Caitlin, thank you so much. Christelle, thank you. And anybody else that I missed, all right? Oh, Quasi. Bye.